Hey, welcome to your local fast food chain. Can I take your order?
Yeah, can I get a double cheeseburger, large fries, some tots, and I guess a diet soda?
Hi, it's Sav and Jess. Welcome to And a Diet Soda, an opportunity for people to celebrate their successes, share their failures, and hopefully give a little advice on all things relatable along the way.
This community is for appreciating the little things and fostering positive mindsets and intuitive thoughts by talking to people, because chances are they've been through it too.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Sav.
And I'm Jess, and welcome to And a Diet Soda, episode 9 already. Dang, episode 9 Mental Health Awareness and Social Eating.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It is.
Wow, just what a ride it's been to create this podcast and learn stories from people from all over the country. People like we would not have otherwise had the chance to meet. We really just wanted to take this episode to recap those first 8 episodes, talk about our journeys with nutrition since starting and a diet soda, and also introduce the concept of social eating, which we're really, really excited about. So we're just gonna get into some of our questions and things that we really wanted to talk about. So just basically to start, like what we've learned since starting and a diet soda. Like, first of all, starting a podcast is hard.
So hard. Sav and I had no idea how much work it was going to take. I mean, it's worth it, and you guys are worth it, but it is like a full-time job on top of our full-time jobs. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's why
the
people get
biggest
paid.
Yeah, we don't get paid. Yeah, exactly. So if
No.
you want to make a donation, maybe
Yeah.
we should make like a GoFundMe account
I
or
know,
something.
right?
Or like a Venmo and a diet soda Venmo. If you
We
like
should
what you
make
hear, drop $5.
I know. That's true. We should make a like t-shirts and just like a diet soda or something on the t-shirt. I don't know. Let us
Yeah.
know if you're listening. Let us know some things that you'd be willing to wear on a t-shirt. Like, let us know what ideas you would have. That would be super cool and fun, and we'll make it.
Definitely. I mean, the things that we have learned so far is endless. Like, yeah, we've learned how to make a podcast and speak clearly so that it comes through and all the technical stuff like that. But what I've been saying from the beginning is this podcast has just been so good for me because it makes me totally aware of myself where I normally wouldn't have been. Like I go to reach for something nutritious and I hear like Sav's voice in the back of my head going like, do you want that or do you want this? And it's just stuff that like it just makes
Is
you
that
more
good?
conscious. Yeah, it's good. Heck
Okay.
yeah. But it's just I just feel like it just makes you more conscious, like when you're always thinking about this, obviously, then you're gonna kind of make those decisions in your own life, subconsciously, consciously, whatever it is.
Totally. Yeah. The whole nutrition journey as a whole is hard. But when you're doing something like this and we're like leading these discussions with people, it just really gets you thinking. And so we really wanted to talk about that. We bring on these guests and we ask them all these questions about their nutrition journeys. And so we wanted to share that. And, you know, in our first episode, we kind of did, I've shared my education and my story, but I think it'd be really cool for us to like share our journeys really quickly by I'll just start. So basically, I know I've explained my education with it, but I have literally done every diet under the sun. I have made this my life, and that sounds healthy, but that can also be very unhealthy. And we're really excited because we're having a full episode next week with Kylie, who's a registered dietitian, and she fully goes into intuitive eating. But that's something that is not just part of nutrition when you're learning about it. And so for me, my weight has always been this roller coaster, and I'm trying new things and I'm learning new things. And so personally, to be able to hear other people's stories and to learn like you're not alone, other people are going through it. And for me, I've always thought, well, medicine and nutrition are so personalized, right? Like they have to be. And I've just, that's like solidified that into my mind so much more. Like one day when I'm going to be able to work with people and utilize nutrition for healthcare, that is going to be the thing that I remember the most from all of this too. It's just like you and I are different. What our nutritional needs are different. It doesn't even matter what type of diet you have. Just you down to your genetic level is so different. And that has been really amazing for me to learn.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the sheer diversity that we've had on this podcast so far is really amazing. I mean, granted, we've had a lot of people with plant-based diets, which has certainly been an education for me in itself. But people, like you said, from all over the country, people from so many different backgrounds, like Jane in her agriculture background, like John in his athletic background, and being from Canada too. It's just really amazing how many different faces we see on here, which is the coolest part. But I think that the best part of that is that we all like share this common ground of everyone's struggling, first of all, which is really sad, but like creates that camaraderie between everyone where it's like, man, I'm really not in this alone. Like everyone's feeling the same way. It doesn't matter who you are. So that's been the coolest part so far, is talking to all these people. And also, if you guys have noticed, Sav and I have pretty similar questions for each guest. We just tweak them a little bit depending on who they are, and the different answers that they come back with every time is just astonishing. I mean, it's, you never get the same answer from the same person, from different people, even if it's the same question. So that's been a really cool thing to compare between the guests for sure.
Totally. They
Yeah.
always have like something similar that they're experiencing, but like it's so like variable per situation in their own life and everything that they've experienced. So I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Did you want to share anything about your nutrition journey? Like overall, what is your, I don't even think I know. I mean, you've always been like very, I don't want to say skinny. That's like something that's so also hard. Maybe we should talk about that one day on the podcast about like how to talk
Yeah,
about people's weight. But you
yeah,
and saying like, oh, you look healthy, like that doesn't necessarily come off as like good or bad, but you've always been like
yeah.
skinny, you're always in good shape in college. So I assume that you've always been very healthy with your family, but what does that look like for you? And like, how has your mental health been affected by that? And we're going to get into that, but just touch on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I feel like Sav and I touched on this a little bit in like our pilot episode too. But my nutrition has always been very dependent on my lifestyle. And my fitness has been very dependent on my lifestyle. I mean, the gym has been a constant in my life for sure, but in high school through sports every day, that was my main mode of exercise. And then where I was my like quote unquote skinniest or lightest was right after college, because I was working on a ranch, riding and saddling horses every day, and it was tough work. And so I feel like it just really is dependent on my lifestyle. And so now when I'm at work, I'm on my feet all day, but I'm not really like working out all day or exuding a lot of energy.
Mhm.
It's just more tiring. Um, and so I don't look the same as what I used to, but it doesn't mean that my nutrition has changed at all, really. I mean, I'm not a very creative person when it comes to food. So to say that my nutrition has changed a lot over the years is just not true. Like I have the same basics. My crock pot is my life. And so I definitely have gone through these like ebbs and flows of weight and nutrition and everything. And this podcast has just made me realize that that's totally normal and that you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this so far, 100%.
Yeah, we wanted to recap some of the topics, and one of the major themes for us has been giving yourself grace through your nutrition and like self-love journey and through all of these like major changes in your life. It really seems like life is just a never-ending cycle of like new changes. Like you start something like a new job, it ends, you start a new cycle of life. Like it's just consistent changes throughout life. And so we've really heard from, I don't know if there's any single guest that we've talked to that hasn't spoken about how important it is to give yourself grace and to be kind to yourself during that. So it's been crazy. It's been crazy to learn. It's cool to have these conversations though, because at least in the typical media, people are just not talking about that. People are not talking about giving yourself grace. It's so I don't know the word that I'm looking for here. Like in social media, everything is so, it's a highlight reel.
Photoshopped.
Photo, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. But nobody speaks to their real life. And so it's nice to hear from real people who have had like many successes in their lives talk about those lows too, because it's just like toxic
And
positivity to
yeah,
like go online and see like, oh, I'm failing because this person is doing this all the time.
Right. And it's hard for these people too. It's not like they come on here expecting, they know it's going to be like an interview style, but the more we get into it and the more you just forget that it's recording, the more it turns into a little bit of a therapy session. I mean, I think that every single person that we've had on here has said the same thing, that like, man, that felt good. And so it's really genuine. It's not like this is forced or scripted or anything. It just kind of naturally comes out, which is so beautiful. That's what happens when you start talking to people. I mean, let this be a lesson for the rest of your life, is like, just ask people about themselves, even if they don't seem like they want to talk about it. I mean, talking about yourself is therapeutic. Like, coming from someone who is really uncomfortable when they talk about themselves, and I pretty much always change the subject and ask someone a question about themselves. It's really nice to just kind of get it off your chest a few times. And you guys will hear that actually in the next episode next week. Kylie and I have a moment, and so do Sav and Kylie, where we're just like, oh man, that felt good. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially from somebody like her who has such an education behind it. I mean, it's just so it's great. Basically what we're saying is it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful time. It's been hard, but it's been totally worth it. And we've always just wanted this podcast to be a place where people can listen and feel safe, and listen to others that they can relate to and not feel judged. And that's why we wanted to discuss social eating and mental health on this episode. So we wanted to do this episode with just us to really dedicate the whole episode to Mental Health Awareness Month. And we think social eating fits perfectly underneath that. So for Mental Health Awareness Month, I've come out with that. I'm very I speak a lot on my anxiety on my personal page and whatnot. So it's really important to me. And Jess has been very supportive and allowed me to have this episode dedicated to Mental Health Awareness Month. And yeah, I personally have really bad anxiety lately. It's been bad. I'm not even like pretending. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the transition. I moved, I'm in school, I'm working, and then trying to focus on your nutrition and your exercise. And for me, I'm crazy. I'm just crazy about it. Like, if I don't exercise, whatever form that is, I literally lose my mind. Like, literally, I get so anxious, and it shows every single day in my life. And so just the transition of not being able to have the gym with COVID and or yoga studios, and just now, like, literally today was the first day I went back to a yoga studio in a year and a half, and I went to yoga. I've been
You
like
guys, that's a big deal for Sav.
yeah.
She eats, breathes, and lives yoga.
Yeah, it's been, and it's great to do yoga at home or whatever type of exercise you're doing, but for me, the whole being there is like freaking religious to me. I don't even know what it is. Like, being there, the heat, the sweat. I know it sounds gross to some people, but that's part of it for me. And so it's been hard just doing it at home, and it hasn't had that same effect on me. And so going today, before I went, I was so anxious already this morning from the second I woke up, and I went and I like left my body and came back. No, I'm just kidding. I come home and Sam's like, I'm in this great mood, and he's like, wow, so that's all it takes, huh? I just like, that's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
That's just where I'm at right now, and it's really important to spread awareness for the multiple different mental health conditions that there are in the world. And it's so, we actually posted this image a while back to show the immense amount of people who struggle with chronic mental illnesses and conditions, and it's not as uncommon as we think it is. So it's just really important to kind of speak to it, and not every single person's is as extreme as the other. So
Right. I mean, I think I say this all the time, but I think that every single person needs to go to therapy, whether that's for a diagnosed mental illness or not. Everyone could benefit for it, every single person. But what I also want to talk about is being that support system and having that support system, because I feel like people who don't struggle with anxiety or depression or anything else, and but have loved ones or close ones that, or friends and family that do, and sometimes it's really hard to be able to be that support system. And no matter what, you have so much love to give to them, and you have so much you care so much about them, and you just want to do everything for them. But somehow it's not working or they're not reciprocating. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, because I think that everyone has a different way of wanting to receive that love and that support. I don't know, Sav, what's your experience been with that? I know it's hard to like tell people what you need sometimes, but that's part of
Yeah.
advocating for yourself.
Yeah, and in general, it's just hard to advocate for yourself in those moments. And that's just kind of like part of who I am, especially with anxiety, because anxiety makes you boxed off. And it takes me a while to get to know a new person, right? And so I always come off as like people see me like straight faced and they think I'm mean, but little do they know how much is going on in my mind. I'm trying to get to know the person. I'm trying to figure out who I can be around them. And that's really hard. And then for people who I'm really close with, it's it's much harder. Like for Sam, it's very hard. It's when I'm really bad, it's so hard for him because some days I don't even know what I need or what I want to feel better. And for my family, it's kind of we don't really speak to the actual diagnosis itself. They just know I'm kind of like hangry sometimes, and they don't understand the roller coaster of emotions I go through. My mom has always been there for me and knows how I am. But it's taken me a long time personally to understand what it is. So now that I don't really live close to them, um, they love and support me as much as they can. But as far as the people closest to me right now, I mean, I feel for them. I feel for them because it is a lot to deal with for me personally. I can't speak to anybody else's experiences, obviously, but with mine, I know that in the moments when things are really bad, like I'll give you an example. We went to the gym the other day. I've worked out my entire life and been in gyms, and I we were doing these box jumps and I literally wouldn't allow myself to do it. I like had such anxiety about jumping on this box for some reason, like for warming up the exercise. And I just like almost started crying in the middle of the gym and told Sam like I couldn't do it. And so we went through the rest of the workout and I was okay. And then we ended up leaving and I just started like crying for no reason. And there's just no rhyme or reason for that. There was nothing he did. There's just no way for him to be able to support me in that moment except for listen to me. And that's where I feel for him, is because for me, what I had to do then was kind of sit aside to myself when we got home and kind of breathe and relax. And then when I was ready, if I like want to talk to him, kind of sit down and talk to him about it. And so for anybody, one, struggling with some type of, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, as hard as it is to be alone, take some moments, breathe, and try to pinpoint exactly what it is. And for those who are trying to support the person in the situation, breathe as well and try to recognize that you might not understand what they're going through, but that you still love and care about them, and that you'll be there when they're ready to talk about it. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's such a hard topic, and everyone's different. Who wants the love, who wants the space?
Oh
It's
my
all
God.
different depending on the person and depending on the day too. I'm sure sometimes you're like, I need a hug, and sometimes you're like, if you touch me, I will actually bite your head off.
Totally. And I think that it's really important too for people to find their thing. Like, I mean, when we first met in college, like I said this on an episode, I think I said this on the first episode, that when we first met, I was like, there's no way that that's real. Like that level of niceness. Like I remember thinking that it's like, nobody's that nice. And so I just have always envied people who have been able to just like go out and be themselves. Like how do you not struggle with any of that at all? Like what is it like to be with somebody, or to be somebody who doesn't have any of that? Like do you just wake up in the morning and you're able to be yourself? I mean, obviously you have your own struggles, but to not have the crippling anxiety that like you can't be yourself, what is your experience like exactly?
I mean, there's at least one moment every day that I worry that I'm annoying someone, and that that is my crutch. I'm like, do you still like me?
Yeah.
Are we still cool? Am I being
Like,
too loud?
oh, that's hilarious. No.
So I mean, I feel like insecurity manifests in so many different forms, and extroverts versus introverts, there's definitions like crazy about them. And I feel like it's a lot more common for extroverts. I'm definitely an extrovert, to be able to exude that confidence. And a lot of the times I am able to like manifest that confidence too. And because sometimes it's just what you have to do. Like I think that I crossed a line where somewhere in my professional life, I was like, if I just pretend that I have all this confidence, it's going to be better for me professionally, just because I'm going to feel like I know what I'm doing more, and that's just going to be it. And it has helped a lot. It has helped a lot. And but there's still like I said, moments every day where I'm like, did I say the wrong thing? Is this cool? Is I mean, I'm an overthinker to no end, and it's exhausting. And sometimes I just have to like yell at myself internally and be like, just stop. Like, who, first of all, who cares? And just quit. Like, it's probably not even what you think. So,
Totally.
um,
That's what I tell myself too,
yeah.
which is like, it sounds bad to tell yourself like nobody cares, because it's like, that's kind of sad, but that's not what it means. When I tell myself nobody cares, it's because nobody cares. Like, nobody's going to remember me in the gym that day if I were to fall on my face on the freaking box jump. Well, maybe that would be kind of funny, probably.
That'd be
Maybe,
amazing.
maybe they would remember that, but people don't care, or they're not thinking or looking at you as like much as we think that they are, which sounds sad, but really it's not, because that means that the people that you love and care about are thinking about you and care about you and will love you even if you fall on your face on the box jump. And who cares about anything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that like everyone could. I wish that there was like a little mini montage of me throughout my life, because I shutting up is a learned skill.
Oh
For
man,
real. Like if you had met me as a child, you think I'm loud and obnoxious and don't have a filter now. Like meet me when I was
I
12
don't think
years
that.
old. Yeah, thanks. But see, that's what I think about myself.
Yeah,
But knowing when to not speak has been definitely the struggle of like, college and professional school and everything, and in a career. Um I feel like that's what I struggle with most, is like my filter and where to draw
look
the
at that.
line. And because you don't want to offend people either. And it's like, I'm the worst about that. I am like, because it's really hard to offend me, I think. Well, no, 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 no. I'm a
Yeah,
little pansy, but mostly when it comes to like, I don't know, like personal digs, not so much.
right,
Like it's a weird line. Like,
right.
I
I
don't
feel
know.
you.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this question. I don't know.
No, yeah, I really liked how you answered it. But that's how my mom is, this person who's like eccentric and like will talk to anybody. And I'm like, I tell her all the time, she'll say something to somebody, I'll be like, Mom, don't talk to that person. I'm like, stop it, leave him alone. And she's like, now she's like, I just need to shut up. And it makes me feel bad because I'm like, so many people talk back to her and she's like, they're nice and they love talking to her. But there's like that one person who's like rude to her, ignores her, and then I get mad for it. And so I'm like, Mom, just who cares if their kid is like trying to open the door or something? Let the kid struggle. And she's like the nice person who's always like there and talking. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm on my way to be there, because I can tell you, I'm so tired of feeling this way where it's just like, I feel like that's my field too, though, is like you learn to like listen and like shut up.
Yeah.
And that makes you vary in your head. And I'm definitely not, I don't want to be like that forever. I don't want to be like that. I want whoever my future patients are, I want them to be able to like be comfortable with me, know that I'm not in my head judging them or like caring about what's going on.
Yeah, I think another huge thing actually that's helped me immensely is the people that I surround myself with at work. And because I can say hands down, this is where I do my graduate work, my research and everything, is hands down the best place I have ever worked in my entire life. My coworkers are fantastic. The vets are amazing, always willing to teach, always positive, and I think that has made a world of difference, because when you go into a place of negativity, you're just going to be negative. There's no way around it, because if you're the one
Totally.
positive person, then you're going to get crapped on anyway. And so walking into a positive, uplifting space is going to help with that so much, and anxiety and your willingness to learn and your confidence in your learning. It's huge. And I'm going to carry these skills and my confidence that I've taken from graduate school in every single future job that I have. I just know it.
Heck yeah. That's
Yeah, and
awesome.
you can find that in your friend groups too. I mean, if you look around and all your friends do are tear you down, it's time to find new friends.
Hell yes. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have the worst anxiety when I'm in situations that I'm clearly not supposed to be in. Like I'm around people that I'm not supposed to be around, or people who make me feel bad about myself. And when I'm in situations where, like, at this point in my life, getting old, there's no running from it anymore. I'm 25 now. Like I know what I like, what I don't like, what kind of people I want to interact with. And when I'm there and around those people, I don't have that. When I'm in school and I'm working all the time, I do have that. But when I'm around people who I love and I care about and who are my friends, like I can be me and know that nobody's going to judge me. And I know that that's, like you're saying, a huge and important skill to take into a future career. Because even my last job, I mean, I met a lot of really cool people there. There was a lot of people my age and they were nice. And even though our jobs were very challenging and required a lot of energy, I mean, I felt what it was like to still be around people who I really cared about. And so, as hard as it is, you have to fight to be in a workplace that allows you to feel that way. Like
Yeah.
you spend so much of your life working, you have to do it at a place that you at least somewhat enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And as hard as it is when everyone else around you has a crap attitude, you can also try to be that person that comes in with a positive attitude and look around, be observant, see about the difference that it makes with your coworkers, even if you're faking it for a second, even if you have high levels of anxiety about it and you're like, should I be doing this? Is this the right thing? Just try it and fake it, and maybe eventually it'll become real. Like that's what I do when I'm sad, is I like make myself smile for like 10 seconds or whatever, and it just makes you feel better automatically.
Totally. Wake up. I read once that every single morning when you wake up, the first thing that you should do when you open your eyes is smile. Like smile for 10 seconds and
Wow.
breathe, like just to breathe. And so I'm like, when I do it, I actually have like a pretty okay day. Like it might be placebo, which is totally okay because placebo is a very strong effect. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it works, it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And also on the little things that maybe you can try to do. I used to be a really big reader in middle school and high school. Like I would stay up so late. My parents would come into my room and like yell at me to go to bed because I was reading a book. And then I just stopped and got out of it in college because I didn't have time. I was partying too hard. And I recently got this book that I'm adoring. And every night I read a chapter, and every morning I read a chapter with my coffee. And I think it's really been amazing I've done it for 2 weeks now, and it's been fantastic. I've actually think I've noticed a difference in like my energy level at work and everything if I don't wake up and go on TikTok or something.
Do you sleep better too?
I sleep way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should see my nightstand. I also have like a coloring book, which I don't even care how childish it sounds. It's like an anxiety coloring book actually. And just like I put it on my calendar because I'm like crazy with my calendar and things that I have to do. And I'm like, at this time every night, I'm going to take the last hour before bed and I'm going to meditate. I'm going to color or read. And I read so much, and reading, it helps me sleep better. It helps me like recognize too, like as stressful as something might be in the moment, it's literally going to be over so soon. Like you're going to come out the other side. And so just to step away from something, and especially with a good book, like just go somewhere else and like recognize that your reality is still okay and that you're going to be okay is so important. And you sleep so much better. And I haven't done that in the morning. Maybe I should try that in the morning too. Be
It's
pretty
good.
good.
It wakes you up. Really wakes you up with
Yeah.
coffee or tea or whatever the hell you drink.
Yeah.
Not coffee.
I drink decaf coffee
Oh, nice, nice.
because real coffee is like I'm on, that's like
Straight through.
straight cocaine or something. I don't know how people drink
I'm
that
just gonna
stuff.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, I might as well just drink it on the toilet.
Yeah. No, yeah, that too. That too. Like I gotta prep. Well, I've been waking up and going straight to the gym in the morning at like 7:30. And so
Oof,
I should,
oof.
oh yeah, that's been freaking terrible, but it's good. It's
Oh,
like
good for
when I
you.
get there, it's good, but it is so hard to wake up. So
Yeah.
anyways, um, that is a perfect transition into social eating
Oh my gosh,
because
so excited.
yeah, this is huge. Jess, you should actually, this was something that you really interests you. So you should kind of give your definition too of what social eating is and why we wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, this is social eating is like my life. It's if you were gonna look up Jess in the dictionary, you'd see social eating. And because I'm a very social person, I love hanging out with my friends. It's how I decompress after a long day. And I have like serious FOMO all the time.
Me
It's
too.
a real thing. Yeah. And so if my friends are doing something, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make it work. Like if I can't with like work or whatever, some deadline, then obviously I'm gonna do the work. But 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh yeah. Let's go get a beer. Let's go get those wings. And it really messes with your dieting plan.
Yeah.
Really very inconvenient. And so like I could be just eating super clean for like 4 days, and then Thursday rolls around and it's wing special at Trailhead, and then you're gonna go get wings. And then of course you like feel a little bit guilty. For me, it's like the guilt of knowing that I bought healthy food, and then if I don't eat it tonight, then it's probably gonna go bad.
Hmm.
And so that I hate. And so either I'll eat dinner beforehand and then be like, maybe I just won't get the wings when I'm out, and then I get the wings anyway, or just don't eat it and then feel guilty about throwing the food away. But either way, I'm just like trapped in this, like, of course I'm going to go out. Of course I'm going to eat. And this, like I was saying, this podcast has really helped because I've shifted my mindset from like, that's terrible, to being like, just go out and enjoy yourself. It's making you happy and making you relaxed after your long work week or day. Like, just go. And but it is really hard, and it's hard for people not to feel that guilt if you've been so good, because there's a lot of calories in drinks and people don't forget that. And so me, I could put down like, I mean, I'm going to be generous with myself and say like 6 or 7 vodka sodas before I start not putting them down anymore, but really it's like 4. But
I love that.
uh but you like can't not think about it. And I don't know, it just sucks. It's like when you
Yeah.
should be enjoying yourself and you feel guilty about it.
Right. And when you live your whole life working like you deserve to, that's the whole purpose of life is connecting with other. We are social creatures. We are social beings. That is what we're supposed to do, is create connections with others that we care about. And it's really sad that it makes us feel guilty at all, no matter what the reason is. I mean, people are like, I get it because yeah, it's just easier to stay on track during the week. It's easier to work out, eat healthy, meal plan. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's easier to do that during the week. And then yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes around and you're like, I'm going to hang out with all these people. I'm going to have fun. And that's the best part about intuitive eating for me, because I've always struggled with this. I got to a point where I was just going out and I didn't care. I was like, I'm gonna like fuel my soul now. And I mean, of course, I gained 10 pounds. What? But I'm like, okay, so how can I have the middle ground of like, this is something that's important. Exercise and nutrition is something that's important to me, but so is hanging out with people that I care about and being social with other people. And so that a huge component of intuitive eating for me was huge, because I'm like, sometimes I want a burger, well, veggie burger, sometime. And then, but it's like, I really listen to myself. Like, I'm supposed to go to dinner tonight and like, I've been craving a salad. And so I'm going to have a salad, but it might be different sometimes. And, just really finding that balance within my eating has been huge, because I love to hang out with people
Yes. Yeah.
and
And
eat
it's
food.
it's so hard. Yes. It's, as a single gal, it is it's so hard because it's the easiest thing to do when you're like going on the first 5 dates, is to just be like, hey, you want to get a drink?
Yeah.
And like it is by far the easiest thing. Hit me up if you think you have a better option for a first date. I'm all ears, because it's the go-to, and it's so casual and it's fine. It's like, even if you're like, do you want to go get some tea, like that feels weird. And coffee's like a midday thing, like you're not going to get coffee past like 3 p.m., you
No.
weirdo. And so drinks are by far the easiest little option. And there's so many things like that, like coworkers. If you start a new job and you're trying to get to know your coworkers, everyone's going out for drinks. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm on a diet. You're going to go because you want to fit in. And and
At least
have
I
that
hope you go, and you
experience.
should be going. And if
You
you're not
should be
going,
going.
go.
Yes, no, that's the other thing is like don't let your diet or your concerns hold you back from having a good time.
Yeah.
That sucks. Don't stop doing it, bitch. Stop.
Yeah. No, I 100% advocate for going because I've also been the person who doesn't go, whether that's anxiety or whatever. And I got tired of letting my anxiety keep me back from and like stop me from hanging out with my friends and shit because that's the one thing that, well, and yoga helps me feel better is connecting with my people. And so also your body is not going to change if you have one meal. That's a huge concept here.
Yes.
There is no such thing, and we're going to talk about it again next week. There is no such thing as like a bad food for your one meal to have fun with. Like you can do that. You can do that once or twice a week. You can do whatever that is. Find the balance that works for you and don't let anybody else make you feel like shit for it. Just don't, because if you're happy, if you feel good, if your body feels good, that's what matters. So find that balance for you. And it's different for everybody. Some people can have 10 burgers a week and look like a freaking rock star. I'm not that person. But
I'm definitely not that person.
lettuce wrapping helps me sometimes. And there are ways that you can still like eat healthy and feel good at nights out with your friends. I mean, I don't know if this is like a good if I should advocate for this, but I mean, if you just drink like a vodka on the rocks or something with lemon or like take some calories out of it, whatever makes you feel better, don't let it stop you from going and being there.
For sure. Now we're gonna see like so many people just pounding shots at the bar
Like,
this weekend. Like,
and
a diet soda told me that if I just drink straight alcohol, it's better for me.
That's not the balance. No, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes. And I think also our society puts such a big emphasis on food. Food waste is such a big guilt for me. Such a big guilt. I mean, I remember growing up, I used to go to this summer camp, this sleepaway summer camp. And it was so much fun. Best time of my life. Shout out Camp Jewel. And and we used to have this thing where after every meal, you had to put your leftovers in this giant bucket that we later fed to the pig, Stanley. And they weighed it, Stanley the pig. They weighed it after every meal, and it was they called it Ort, like ORT Ort, and there was a song to go along with it. I'm not gonna sing it. And
please sing it.
No,
Sorry, I have something in my eye. I'm not trying to like.
It goes the ooh, Ort report.
What?
Yeah. But we like all stand up and sing and snap, or clap. I can't remember. And so you weighed your Ort, and that was your food waste. And there was like so much celebration if you had like barely any food waste. And I think that's really where it all began for me.
Jesus, that's like,
which is, I mean, it's a good concept because it's like there's so many kids at this summer camp. There's like 400, I think, per 2 weeks was a full session, and a lot of the kids can have a lot of waste if they're not careful. Kids have eyes bigger than their stomach. They're gonna take like 10 different French toast sticks and only eat 3 because then they get full and then they throw the rest away. But really, they should have just taken less to begin with. And maybe we should have put more emphasis on just taking less to begin with instead of finishing what's on your plate.
And go back if you want
go
more.
Grocery shopping. Yeah. And if something's going to go bad, and my parents, I remember too, like my dad would eat all the leftovers. He's like a garbage disposal. I feel like all men are like this.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. And I just feel so much guilt about throwing food away when really I probably should just get better about portioning out what I need. But then it's like, what if I don't have enough?
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, there's definitely two sides of that. I think the average, I'm trying to remember the statistic, the average family household wastes 1,000 pounds of food a year.
Wow.
That's huge. I mean, that's saying something. So that's one aspect. That's not good for our planet. That's not good for emissions either. So, but the other side of it is like, wow, like I can't believe that you went through that. I can't believe that as a kid you were like experiencing people making you feel bad if you didn't eat all your food or
it's like that's part of all society. It's like clean your plate or you don't get dessert.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And yeah.
That's insane. Well, I mean, what I try to do is I'm like a huge advocate for frozen food because you just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot longer for something to get freezer burn on it than for something to like raw in the fridge. I'm also like a huge fan of like Tupperware, even like big Tupperware that you might like meal prep with. Um, if you buy like spinach or lettuce, like you can put those in there and it will stay so much better and fresh for longer than just staying in the bag and it's not going to get soggy. So there are different ways. Yeah, I like
That's
actually
super
have,
good advice.
yeah, I mean just because you buy this huge thing of spinach and I'm at this point I'm good at putting spinach in everything like spaghetti or smoothies, but I wasn't and I was throwing away so much of it and I'm like, okay, how can I shift this a little bit? And so my mom actually gave me these Tupperware things that are like meant to like vent the right amount of air, but I also do it just with like basic cheap Target Tupperware that I find that's like even plastic, which I don't like to use that much, or glass even. But if you put it in there and you keep the oxygen and moisture away from the lettuce or the spinach, it's going to stay better for a lot longer and much more crisp. So you can also just, after like 2 days, if you're like, there's no chance of eating this spinach this week, literally throw it in the freezer because then you can put it in, with your like, some people make spaghetti with like ground beef sauce. You can put spinach in there. And I know it sounds weird, but you barely even taste it. And you can put that in your sauce or you can put the frozen something in the smoothie. So there are ways to try to not waste the food if it is something for anyone listening, if that does make you feel bad, because I can relate. I absolutely felt the exact same way. So that's just something I try to do.
Yeah. I guess just try not to feel bad too.
Yeah.
Try not to do it, but try not to feel bad if it happens.
Yeah, just I know it's hard. A lot of our listeners have said meal prep is hard, and I totally get that, especially for a lot of families and people who are moms. I get it. Like you don't even have the time to do it. So you know that you're gonna make some types of meals, right? Like my mom feels the exact same way. She'll like go through like once a month and clean out the fridge. So trying to be mindful of it and like maybe again listen to your body and what you want. Sometimes if you want, I saw this thing today online and it was like what I want sometimes, and it's like a bowl of Cheerios, and so she's like eating that and she's like, and then sometimes I want my salad. And so instead of like thinking to yourself like, I should be eating salad when I'm eating this other stuff, like let yourself eat what you are craving and want, get your craving done with, and then you're gonna like want other things and you're going to be able to eat those other things instead of dread that you have to eat that spinach in your fridge. So yeah, this all started because this topic I should say started because Jess was reminiscing on a time that she was like, let's go. Did we talk about this on John's episode? I can't remember. When we went out
I
to
don't
eat.
know.
When we went to eat, I don't know, I'm going to say it again, sorry if we did, but
Say it again.
I'm saying it again. Just was like, let's go. What did we do before that? Was it like Big Little or something?
Oh, when we went to Texas Roadhouse and
Yeah.
you imploded. It was it was Big Little. It
That's
was
a word
Big
for
Little.
it.
Yeah, yes, for real. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. So it's like tradition after in college when you get your little and there's this like big little reveal, like how we said that a little is like a mentee and the big is like a mentor, just usually a person like one or a sister like 1 or 2 years or pledge classes older than the newbie, and they really just like help them guide them through the sorority process because it's hectic, and through college in general, and hopefully like Sav and I and my other two littles just remain friends. And so it was big little reveal night, and so we go all out, right? You go all out into this big long drawn out reveal.
Go to dinner.
You go to dinner after, yeah,
You're
and my
freaking
whole
stoked.
what?
You're freaking stoked that you got
Yeah,
your big.
right, exactly. And so my sorority family, so like my big and Sav and a couple of our other friends, we decide that we're gonna go to Texas Roadhouse because it's easy. Everyone likes it. Hard not to like it. Yeah. They can accommodate large groups. And so we get there, make it through an entire meal. Sav like goes to town on the bloomin' onion.
No, yeah.
And and then I later find out that she has all these digestive issues. And I'm like, babe, you should have told me. But it's like, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to be cumbersome to people.
And it's so embarrassing. That's like, that is social eating. You're just like,
No, it's not embarrassing. I would have happily gone somewhere else with you, just the two of us.
that was, but it's like, you just feel like such an inconvenience. Like, that's social eating plus an allergy on top of it. I feel for people like that because it's like, I guess I could have eaten a salad, but at that time in my life, I did not know what intuitive eating was. So, I mean, I could have gotten something else, but I just wanted to be included and wanted to like have fun with everybody, right? And it was fun.
Right.
I mean, 20 minutes later was not fun running to
No.
the bathroom and getting
Yeah.
sick, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's just part of it. So, I
My
don't
big
know.
was all, where did your little go? And I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like,
Little did I know.
no. Gross.
Gross. That was amazing. Nice.
Nasty.
Nice. I don't know. I guess what Sav and I are trying to get across with all this, and I hope this comes through with the episodes, is that everyone goes through these same experiences. Even if they're different experiences, they're the same underlying themes. And we just don't want anyone to feel alone with that. I mean, the minute we're just trying to get people and ourselves to speak up, I haven't been so vulnerable in my life, like
Never.
until we started this podcast. And it's much easier to like just talk to Sav and our one guest or whatever, because I feel much more comfortable. Then I remember sometimes that I get to go in live and I'm like, oh my God.
People are listening.
But we just want to bring out that vulnerability because someone has to do it first. And our hope is that everyone who's listening, if they're feeling that way, I'm sorry that you've also felt that way. No one deserves to have low self-confidence, even though it's so common. But we just hope that if you do feel that way, that you find some solace in what we're saying and maybe take some of our advice, maybe don't. But also know that this is totally an okay space to just reach out. We love to hear from you guys. We've gotten so many DMs and from people, usually it's like Sav's friends who I don't know, and I'm responding like, oh my God, thanks. And Savannah texts me later and she's like, that was my aunt.
Yeah.
But
No, so many of your friends do too. It's funny though, that does happen. Like my people will send something and then you'll respond, but your people will send something and I'll see it. It's like weird. It's cool though. It's been cool because it's like I'm seeing
right.
people who I don't know that are listening. So it's
Yeah.
cool. But no, yes to everything that Jess said 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
safe space. It's cool. Listening to a podcast is a very cool experience just to like listen to and relate as it is. But we're also people on the like we're people behind these weird little microphones that we're holding. So I mean, we're here, we've experienced it. We started this because we've also been there too. So
Right. Like if I wanted to come across cool, I wouldn't be saying all the things that I say. Cool has long since sailed. So we just hope that you guys feel comfortable approaching us and sharing your story with other people too, because we want this to be a chain of events. We want it to affect you guys, and we want you guys to go out and affect other people in a positive way.
Totally. Yeah. And so many of the messages have been so awesome. Like just to hear that it's impacting anybody and like people that I would never have thought would be listening or are listening. So we really do thank you all for listening and sending in your messages. So I got 2 questions just from people that had questions for us for this episode. So the first one that I got is very loaded, but we should both answer it. It's what was the hardest thing for you to change, like cravings and finding times to work out? And I'm like, whoa, that's a question, but it's such a good question. You want to go first?
Sure. So the hardest thing for me to change was my emotional mindset, or my mental mindset, I should say, which in turn has affected workouts and cravings. Because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been consistent with my workouts. Work has been crazy. Last
Yeah,
thing you
she
want to do.
works like every day,
I
including
do.
weekends.
I work every day. It's fun. I love my job, but you're tired when you get home, and the last thing you want to do is go to the gym. Like if I like had a gym at home or something and I didn't have to deal with people, because honestly dealing with people is the worst part. If I drive past the gym and it's crowded, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that.
And so for me, the hardest part has just been the continuous reminding of myself just to be like, just give yourself grace and it's going to be fine. Like my cravings, I don't know, y'all, I made cupcakes last night because I wanted the batter. Like they're but I'm okay with that. Like I don't think that this is I feel like I eat healthy.
Wait,
I
did you
think that
make the cupcakes or did you just eat the batter?
no, I made the cupcakes after.
Oh, I
I just
wasn't I wasn't judging. I love batter.
yeah. No, I brought them into work
Oh,
today to make
cool.
everyone else's day. But I
Aw,
just wanted the batter.
nice. Oh
Um, but wow, that would be impressive. I would film myself if I was
my
able to put
God.
down an entire
Yeah,
bowl
that
of
would be
batter to go to immediately up truck. Um, just like looking at all these people that we've had on that are just absolutely killing it, like Elisa, who's in med school and just doing amazing and working so hard, and just countless people that are just doing it. So it's really inspiring. And when you start to change your mental status about surrounding food and surrounding working out and everything, the rest will just follow. Like you gotta be okay with it, and then it's gonna change. Because actually, to be honest, so my weakness is the rice pudding stuff at that you get at the grocery store. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. It's like the Cozy Shack brand. Like, it comes in like I don't know. Some people probably know what I'm talking about.
Is it like
But it comes
Mexican
in
rice
like a
pudding?
tub. I don't know. You like find it next to the eggs.
Interesting. Okay. I mean,
um,
we have a roast con leche my mom makes that it's literally like sweetened milk and rice.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I get that. So
That's pretty much what it is. And so that's always been my craving and like something that I turn away from at the store. And through doing this podcast for the last 2 months, like I've certainly gotten it before, but it's like no longer a fight with myself because I think that I know that it's okay that I have it. And
Mhm.
now I'm like, I don't need it.
Yeah, you're like I can have it once and get yeah,
Yeah.
fine. When I like if I want it, I want it. Yeah,
Right. Totally.
that's awesome. That's awesome to
Sav.
hear. Yeah. Okay, so I just don't want this to come off as like not relatable for people because I don't have kids. This is my life. I like this is what I'm trying to do with my life. So I just want to preface by saying that um, the hardest thing for me to change was years ago when I started learning about nutrition and these multiple diets and like finding what worked for me. That was the hardest part. But when I found what worked for me, I stuck with it. And I am I do have allergies, so it makes it easier. If I want like a cupcake or a muffin or a cookie, I've found ways to like use almond flour or use, I think I've said this before, like healthier sweets that I've wanted. And that's helped me maintain like my weight and things that I want. But I still do go and like get cookies that are like gluten free and stuff, but I know that they're not the same as like somebody can go to Cold Stone and like I can't do that. And so for me, it's like I literally can't do some of these things because it's not worth getting sick like Jess and I were talking about. But I still do find ways to like get the things that I want in. And sometimes I do it. I mean, Sam actually found this vegan mac and cheese at Costco for like $10 and it was like a jalapeno cheddar and it was gluten. I took 3 digestive enzymes and I ate a bowl of that. And I was like, this sounds so good. And so, I found what works for me. And years ago, as I'm learning about intuitive eating, I just allow myself to have my cravings because when I am a binge eater, like I will binge eat all the time. If I don't allow myself to, I will eat everything in my path until I eventually eat the thing that I wanted to, anyways. So I just eat the thing that I want. And my taste buds have changed over time because of it. Like, I did not used to like these goofy little treats that I made because they weren't jam packed with sugar. And that's what I like needed. My brain was addicted to sugar too. I mean, fun fact, sugar is regulated and processed in the same part of the brain that cocaine is. It's literally a drug. So, I mean, I was very much addicted. I loved sugar. I will always choose something sweet over something salty. So it took me a while, but just once I found my thing, I stuck to it. And my advice for anybody who, struggles with that is, like I said earlier, find something that works for you. Don't beat yourself up when you want something else. Eat the one thing you want and move on because I'm that person who I will want the cookie and instead of eating it, I will eat the kiwi, grapefruit, apple, whatever else is on my counter in the path of it. And a protein bar even, and then just eat the cookie anyways. And that's a significant amount more of food and calories than just eating the cookie. So as far as working out, again, I don't want people to think this is unrelatable, but it's my life. It's always been part of my life. It's part of who I am. As I've said, that's what I need to feel okay in my anxiety. It's part of my life. If I don't do it, I'm not me. I won't feel okay. And so I make time to do it, even if that's 30 minutes and I can only do it at home. Of course, I would want to go to the gym, or I would want to go to the yoga studio because that's like a really good workout for me. But I have to do something. And if I don't, I will feel just awful. So personally, that's my experience. Again, if you're struggling and you only have 10 minutes, literally go for a walk around your block. Do a challenge, do 10 push-ups, 10 squats, whatever it is that you have time for. Don't beat yourself up for not having time. If you have a family, you've done an amazing thing. You're probably a freaking rock star because you're taking care of yourself and all of these other people. And you deserve those 10 minutes to do whatever it is that you want to do for you, even if that's meditate or just cry, whatever it is. Like, take your time for you. And as we get older and our lives have these changes, you have to adjust with it. I mean, I'm not in the same shape that I was in college or even after college, when I would teach yoga, do yoga, teach yoga, do yoga. That was my routine. Like, of course I was skinny and like, that's what I did for a job. And so now I don't have that time, and I'm still okay with where I'm at, but I don't look the same way. And so you have to be able to adjust to where you're at and be proud of that. And whatever it is that you've decided for your life and your family. So sorry, that was long.
Love it. No, that was amazing. You're amazing.
Aw.
The next question, a little lighter. What are your favorite snacks? Love the snacky snack. Sav, you want to take it away?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay, so Savannah and I have these outlines that we use for every episode, and I'm scrolling and I read that question and I scroll down and I said, what are your favorite snacks? Scroll down a little bit more. Sav literally indented goji berries, like she would ever forget to say my favorite snacks are goji berries, but she's like, I'm gonna write it down just in case. It's ridiculous.
Oh, God. No, I wrote it down because, I mean, yeah, it's true, but well, the message that you got, somebody asked about the goji berries. Everybody asked me about goji. So I don't know. I feel like I need to take 10 seconds to talk about these fucking goji berries. I mean,
Yeah, they suck.
yeah.
She made me try them.
She was like, no, but that goes back to what I was saying. I mean, I used to love M&Ms, and when I tried to change my eating, instead of eating M&Ms, of course it sucked at first for me too. I mean, they were like bitter and weird, but now in place of eating a handful of M&Ms, I eat a handful of goji berries. It's like, it's a superfood. It has a lot of vitamin A and nutrients in it. And so it does take some time, but they're a great type.
I'd be willing to try it again. I mean, I didn't like wine the first time I had
No,
it.
you
And
didn't.
now look how far I've come. I drink it every night.
That's a good little snack. I mean, I don't eat that like as my snack, but I had to like put that in there because so many people asked about it. So it's hilarious. I'm just going to go quickly because I have a lot of like things I could say. Nuts and seeds, like roasted or raw nuts and seeds, really good. Protein bars. I have protein shakes. I'll eat like a fruit bowl. I make acai bowls all the time. I know it takes me like 15 minutes at this point. It does take a while when you first start, but I can put protein powder in there and have it. Like any type of chips and guac. Like, sorry, that's a snack. I mean, I have to eat like grain-free chips, but like delicious, and just mash up an avocado and it's good. And also something like carrots and hummus. I mean, just something simple and easy. Like I always have food with me too, because as I said, I'm a hangry one. I can get hangry. So
Yeah.
What about you?
Those sugar snap peas are so good because they're sugary. Not sugary, but they taste sweet. I
Yeah.
recently found out that they're not sugary. The name is very misleading.
Yeah, totally.
But they're so good and they're so crunchy. And also love hummus. Yeah, my family does hummus like it's their job. Like my mom makes homemade hummus and it's amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Yes. So good. But I don't really like it with veggies. I'm more of like a pita and hummus kind of person.
I would be too if I could do that.
And yes, and if you haven't done this, I highly recommend it. Put a hard-boiled egg in your hummus. Delicious.
Like
I
mix
know,
it up
skeptical. Like, I don't know, you can mix it up if you want to, but
or
I
like
usually just
dunk it.
like, or like soft boiled even, but I usually just like cut into it and take like a little bit of hummus, a little bit of egg on the pita. Delicious.
That sounds good. I mean,
Amazing.
hummus is literally good on so many things.
Yeah, it's
So
so
like
good.
in place of like a salad dressing even.
Ooh,
Super good.
nice.
Totally.
Smart.
Awesome. Well, so for our weekly challenge this week, in light of mental health awareness, we just wanted to challenge you to ask somebody close to you how they're doing and take the time to listen. And if they say that they're good and they don't seem good, dig a little deeper with them, even if it's a little uncomfortable, push that boundary and see how they're doing and open up with them and reflect with them and with how you're doing as well.
Yeah, some of the best advice that I ever got was when you're having a conversation, instead of thinking, because as soon as I say this, you guys are going to go back and be like, oh my gosh, I do this all the time, because I totally do, even though I try not to. When you're having a conversation with someone, don't be thinking about what you're going to say next. Like, really be in that conversation, really be listening to them, because so many times we're 10 steps ahead. We've got our next question, we've got a story that goes off of that. We're thinking about it. Just take a second to hear what they're saying and then respond.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, it's also hard too when I feel like it's our first immediate response when we're listening to somebody and they're talking about an experience that they've had and you start sharing something about yourself. And I know that we do it because we're like, I just want to seem relatable to you and I want you to know that I really understand what you're saying and how you're feeling. But sometimes I know it doesn't come off that way. So yeah, I love that. I'm gonna 100% try to do that.
Yes, yeah.
100%.
Or just like take a second to respond to them too. Like say something like, that was a really cool story. I also have a story like that. Just take a second.
You're so good at
Make
doing
them
that.
feel heard.
You're so good at doing that. You've always been so good at doing that.
I don't know. I really try very hard at it.
No, it's awesome.
It doesn't come natural.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much to our listeners for tuning in and following along. Your continued support means so much to us. And we always appreciate every single message, all of your kind words, feedback, criticism, everything. I mean, we're now holding our mics. We think that this might sound better. So we're going to try this to see if you can hear us
little pop
better.
star action. Yeah, so to become a part of our family and community, as always, we want to engage with you guys. So shoot us a DM if you have any questions, or have anything you want to say, or even just to like shout out someone that's been doing awesome in your life. Like, we will shout it out. If you want to just like nominate someone, be like, my girl, my boy has been killing it. Can you say something about it? We're like, heck yeah, would love to. So join us on Instagram or Facebook at And Diet Soda, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. We hope you were able to give yourself a little love today. You deserve it.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and check us out on social media for weekly conversations and attainable challenges for your health.